So, John,
Hello, Lee.
a couple of years ago, we starred in a film about a superhero
Oh, we
trying to find his own powers.
we did.
It's
We did. Yes.
Superhero in training.
Oh goodness me.
Shit.
Shit in for short. Yes.
Yeah.
I completely forgotten about that until you just referenced it there. I was like, we started a film.
Yeah, we started a film.
We did. And I'm thinking, yeah, of course. So to explain what Lee's talking about. Hello, everyone. By the way, we're back.
Yeah. It's been a week.
It has been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a while for us recording. But
It has.
It's been a hot minute since everyone else heard it.
I know that is so true. But yes, a few years ago in university, we helped out two of our filmmaking compadres, shall we say, where I played a young man with no superpowers who desperately wanted to be a superhero because he was obsessed with them.
Yeah.
And I decide to suit up, put together a makeshift little costume, which actually, looks quite good, to be
Yeah,
fair.
it looked like a good superhero costume.
It was good. And you played you played a mugger, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, a man mugging. Who were you mugging?
I don't know. I think I just ran off with a
purse
purse or something.
Yeah.
It's just obviously looking like a mugger.
Yeah. And you beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. Curb stomped you as well.
I don't know if it's available anywhere, that film.
No, I think that film's in an archive somewhere.
It's in the vault.
Yeah, it's in the Sunderland University archives.
It is, yeah. Yeah, because that was the thing. Was that going to be the original ending?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
That wasn't my film.
No, it wasn't mine either. And then, but I just remember you curb stomping me in the
I remember
end.
you fucking shitting yourself.
I was so terrified because there was a close up shot of me. I remember this so distinctly. Where I had to put my mouth very, very much on the curb
Yep.
in this car park in Sunderland.
Your teeth are on a curb.
They were. It was like, if anyone's seen American History X,
Yeah.
you know exactly what I'm referring to. It was so terrifying. I was so frightened because I was like, I know Lee's not gonna kick me, like literally do it, but if he stomps in the wrong place, I'll die.
And I stomped very close to
You
your head.
did. I was so frightened. It was awful. It was so terrible. But no, it was good fun.
Yeah.
It was good fun.
I mean, it brings us on to this week's show because me and you both love comics, both love superheroes.
We do indeed. We do.
So I got you to watch My Hero Academia.
Oh, what a segue. What a perfect segue.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did. So yes, absolutely. That was the next thing you wanted me to watch. My Hero Academia.
Academia.
My Hero Academia on Netflix.
Which I think it's only the first season that's on our Netflix anyway.
Yes. It only said one season, and you asked me to watch the first 8 episodes.
Yeah, because right now it's finished its 5th.
Bloody hell.
So there's a lot of episodes. There's 100 and odd right
Goodness
now.
me. But yes. And yeah. And what was was that the main reasoning why you wanted me to watch this?
Yeah, I wanted to get a little bit into it because, yeah, I mean, to be fair, superhero movies is kind of what we've had the past few years on.
Oh god, so much of it, isn't there?
And yeah, obviously you've probably been saying that My Hero Academia was inspired by American superheroes.
Yes, it very much reminded me very much of obvious things like X-Men, for example.
Funny you should say that.
Oh, right.
Keep
Okay.
it going.
Yeah, so it reminded me of X-Men. Of course, that whole concept of like a superhero school,
Yeah.
and things like that, and particularly actually of X-Men Evolution.
Mm.
If you've ever seen that, that was my first ever exposure to X-Men. I think in the when I was a small boy, and then we're watching it in the early 2000s. On Toonami, actually.
Yeah.
If I remember, if anyone's listening to this, if anyone remembers Toonami, please write in your personal experiences with
If
that.
anyone remembers what Toonami was called before that, Fox Kids, please
Fox
write in.
Kids, I remember Fox Kids. Bloody hell, God, I remember that very much. It was some wonderful stuff on there.
Oh yeah.
But yes, that was my first exposure to X-Men. I know we're veering off a little bit, but we always do.
Yep.
And it was the X-Men, but as teenagers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was written to tie in with obviously, because that's when the Fox X-Men films were coming out.
Yeah, I think 99 was the first one, or 2000?
2000,
2000,
the first one, and I know that's when that series debuted. I think so. It's like it's pure early 2000s, goodness, you know.
Yeah.
And that was, but it reminded me this show, that I watched really reminded me a lot of that. And also it reminded me, bizarrely enough, of another Disney movie called Sky High.
I never saw Sky High.
Sky High was, I think it's a forgotten little gem, and it's got Kurt Russell as like the All Might-esque character in and his wife called Jetstream, I think, and they're the most like the biggest superheroes in the world, and their son doesn't have any superpowers. So but they don't believe it. They're like no, he must have powers. You know, he's our son. You know, and we're like, you know, like really tough and all that. Like, so they send him off to like this superhero school called Sky High.
Yeah,
it's up in the sky, and it's for kids with superpowers, and they teach them how to be superheroes. So it's very much the same concept.
Yeah,
but the principal is Linda Carter.
Wonder Woman.
It's, of course, it's just one big reference
to
Wonder Woman, and it's brilliant. It's just absolutely fantastic. And of course his powers do manifest at some point. And actually, he does get into a rivalry with another young lad who shoots fire from his hands. So I'm wondering, where did these concepts come from originally?
Well, from what I've my research anyway.
Yes.
The writer, Kohei Horikoshi. Sorry, it took me a while to register that in my brain.
Right.
Kohei Horikoshi. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was an inspiration.
Right, that makes a lot of sense.
Stories, X-Men, specifically the films.
Right, yes.
And Star Wars is an inspiration.
Really?
Yeah, that's what's been cited.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose... actually, no. Now that you mention it, there is a bit of an Obi-Wan Anakin parallel there, I guess, a little bit. But like that mentor-y thing, I guess, as well.
And I'm pretty sure the town they're called in is called Tatooine.
Is it actually?
It's like, I'm sure it's Tatooon, just Tatooine.
I never noticed that. I never knew that. But yes. So I watched it.
Yes.
I enjoyed this.
I thought you might.
I did enjoy this a lot. I do think it's very bizarre though. It's so strange, and I'll go into detail why. But if I concern my notes here, Lee, I've got written down the return of porno graffiti.
Yes, that's the segue from last episode.
Yeah.
So I'm good like that.
They're back. Yes, it's as if you've planned this.
Yes.
No, it was wonderful to hear them, but I thought, oh, here they are. I thought I was listening to the intro music, and I was like, this is extremely familiar.
And then porno graffiti popped up.
And then it said music by Porno Graffiti, and I was like, oh, there they are. There's my boys. It was a lovely little catchy little tune.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed it. You know, it was, and then of course the episode starts, and it's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
The idea that 80% of the population of the world are born with superpowers, and only 20% are not. You know, and I thought that was a really interesting concept. So it's a bit like, so again, you see that like that X-Men thing come through of like mutations and all that. Like it's a widespread thing. It's not just like the select few.
Yeah.
So it kind of removes it away from like that God's thing that Zack Snyder's very fond of.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of that they're so widespread that there is there's actual like forms of education put in place to sort of teach them, like teach these people how to manage their powers and stuff, and like become superheroes, because there's so many of them. And because there's so many of them, you learn very early on that there's some useless ones. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like when you first see all these superheroes appear to fight like the villains.
Yeah.
But of course, that's another thing as well. There's villains that manifest as well, not just superheroes, because, well, why wouldn't there be?
People use their powers for bad.
Exactly. So I thought that was really cool. There was, I can't remember all the names, but I remember there was a guy whose thing is that he's just got really big arms or something, and he's just strong.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name now.
I can't remember his name, but like there was a human fire department.
Yes,
that was it. It was like his thing is he just sprays water or something. And it's like, great, he's only useful when there's a fire, I suppose. A tree person,
Yeah, Kamui Woods. He's like Spider-Man, but like with roots.
but with
instead of
roots and shit.
webs.
Yeah, yeah. And then I've got written here, Mount Lady. What the bloody hell?
Oh yeah,
What was that?
she just grows gigantic.
She just draws gigantic, and she's an immediate like just this like sex object
Yeah.
that is just like immediately we're going full force with it. Amazing, like of course.
I think later on she puts her own beauty like line out.
Does she actually?
She has her own modeling agent, something like that.
Something
yeah.
like that. Well, shit, but I mean, she's the thing is, it's like what I didn't get was on when she appears like later on, she can't do anything because she can only walk through double lanes.
Yeah, she's only big enough for double lanes, so she can't get through.
Just shrink, like you know.
But then she doesn't have an ability really. She's just small.
It's true. She can shrink, run to where she needs to be, and then grow big. You know, like I mean, she established that she could grow small.
Yeah.
Oh, it just didn't make any sense.
I think she just goes to a specific point, and that's it. She can't go in between.
Yeah. The animation in this I found quite terrifying at some points. It was like, this was right now. This is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Everything. It's like everything's on acid.
That's anime.
I'm aware it's anime, but it's like, it's more so than ever. This program, everything is just crazy.
Yeah.
Everything is just on the nth degree. All the dialogue is either like screamed,
Yeah,
or whispered or something, or spoke at like a calm level, and then all of a sudden everything just is like elevated to like just this ridiculous level. It's just the voice acting is mental, particularly from the protagonist. What was his name?
Deku, Midoriya.
Midori Deku. Yes. He sounds like he's on the verge of a mental breakdown every minute, every 30 seconds. Everything is just like it's like I got the impression that it doesn't matter what you would say to him, he would probably have a panic attack over it.
I mean, you seen his childhood friend? Are you surprised?
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. But even like when he's in his private moments, I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like if like his mom came in and said like, oh, we're having rice for dinner. What do you want with it? He'd be like, I don't know. You know, it's like I don't know if I can eat rice. No. You know, it's like everything was just that. And there's even a bit where he's being trained by All Might, where he just screams for no reason.
Yeah.
Like he's on top of like the garbage.
Yeah.
And he's just screaming, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Just calm down. And I felt myself saying that a lot, actually. Just
Dragon Ball Scream, that's what it is.
I suppose it is. But even in Dragon Ball, they screamed when it was warranted. You know, and you know, it's that thing of just yeah. I just felt myself saying "calm down" every 5 seconds. But I thought it was a really straightforward story, which I thought was really cool. I liked the idea that the main character he's mortal.
Yeah.
So to speak, you know, and he doesn't have any superpowers, and but he still loves the idea of being a superhero, and particularly All Might, who's like the Superman-esque figure of this entire thing. And the thing is, there's this whole thing about how you initially think that the mentor-student relationship, at least I did anyway, I thought it was going to be a bit like, you know, in The Incredibles, how, again, some more parallels from that as well. I thought it was going to be a case of like where never meet your heroes sort of thing, where All Might's just an absolute prick. I mean, and he isn't like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is an element of don't meet your heroes, because All Might isn't all that he's made out to be, really.
Yeah.
Just for context, if anyone's not seen this, All Might is the one hero who's meant to be like the greatest hero ever, isn't he?
When you see him, he looks like an American hero, like a full blonde, stocky Captain America sort of. Yeah,
like Superman kind of figure.
I mean, I'm guessing you watched the English dub of it.
I did.
In the Japanese dub, a lot of his stuff he says in English. Like, he just randomly swears in English, and like all of his attacks, like Dakota Smash, he says them in English.
Incredible! Wow.
So he's like a very, very based on American.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you very much get that impression when you see it, and I like the idea that as well that it's like he never isn't smiling.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how bad things get, he
needs a smile.
always smiles, because it's that idea that things will be okay. and all that, and that which the main character sort of adopts that thing, even when he gets told by the Doctor that he's not going to develop any quirks.
Quirks, yeah.
Which is another thing as well. They refer to them as quirks,
yeah,
rather than superpowers. Which I guess is like that. Really, it makes it a bit more realistic, doesn't it? Because I feel like if that was an actual real thing, people wouldn't refer to them as superpowers, would they? They would refer to them as something else.
Oh, what's your quirk? Like, yeah.
Yeah, what's your quirk? Yeah. Or what can
you do? Yeah.
What can you do? Sort of thing. Which I thought was really cool. But when he meets All Might after like the fight, like some big gooey sludge slime monster thing, All Might is his true form is like he's quite a beaten up, like scrawny
guy. Yeah, he's just emaciated. Yeah,
who's just so exactly. He's so like worn out and drained by
there's multiple surgeries he had when he got punched in the side.
He's just so like he's like a skeletal figure in his true form, and he has to power up to be All Might, but he can only do it for
3 hours.
For 3 hours, exactly.
He's pretty much flexing. That's all he's doing. He's
he's just flexing a lot, And I thought that was really fascinating. That like it's this power has really taken its toll on his body, you know, and that's why he has to pass on the power to a successor, and that's what's his name?
Deku. Just go vice hero.
Deku. I keep forgetting it, like because I've written down here that his name is
Izuku Midoriya.
Izuku Midoriya. Yeah, but it's like Deku is what everyone always calls him.
Everyone calls the smaller All Might Small Might.
Small.
That's his fan nickname.
That's class. That's so funny. The villain of the piece, his relationship with like Explodey. I've written down here. I've called him what have I called him? I've called him Explosive Bastard Man.
I mean, you're accurate. Bakugo is a bastard man, and he explodes.
He's an absolute bastard. This man is so angry. He's so full of rage and hell, isn't he?
Yep.
Like, and I'm like, it's a clear inferiority complex, isn't it? Despite the fact that because here's a character who, well, this is the thing as well, when they said like, oh, we were friends when we were little. No, you weren't. No, you guys were never friends. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like,
it's kind of that thing. Oh, your mum's are probably his friends. You play with him. We're friends
exactly.
Now.
There you are, sorted out. But bless him. It was funny when Deku, when he was a small boy, he was going, "Why are you being so mean?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why are you being so mean? Why are you so horrible? You're full of hell. You're being just you're such an unnecessary just drain on existence, aren't you?" But I guess it's that classic thing of like, "Oh, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the best at everything. I've got really cool powers. I'm going to be the greatest hero of all time."
Obviously, there's a thing that he's got explodey powers and he has an explosive personality.
Exactly.
And his name, Bakuhatsu, means explosion in Japan.
Does it really?
So Baku, yeah.
So it's all there. It's all there. It's all there for you.
Yeah. He's got a very literal name.
Yes, that was another thing as well. I mean, they're quite literal in their explanations about everything. I mean, thankfully, that was another thing I noticed as well. There's always a character to explain everything to the audience.
Oh, that's just anime in general, really, especially shonen anime.
Sure, I guess. Is this a recent one, by the way?
Mango came out in 2014.
Right.
So the anime came out probably 16.
Yeah.
2016, 17-ish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very recent. It's popularity because of Marvel.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the influence from that. Really, it's like the whole, because a lot of like the powers as well as like the other when he actually like, gets into the school.
Yeah.
That's for me. That's when it got really cool.
Yeah.
Because that's when you see like all of the different like immersions of like the powers and characters and things like that.
They're all really unique.
They are. That's one thing that I really appreciated about it, because I think when you're doing something, I mean, because about I think around about like this time last year, I started to come up with the idea of actually writing a comic book.
Yeah.
Or coming up with an idea for something like that, whether it was a comic book or a series or whatever, and it was going to be a superhero thing. Coming up with original characters and powers is really difficult.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of them have already been done, and a lot of them are often variations on those same powers.
Yeah.
But here you've got
You got Zero, who has sellotape for out of his elbows.
Literally, like sellotape coming out of his fucking elbows. Like what? You know what I mean? Like, and even the Keanu Reeves-esque teacher.
Oh yeah.
Eraserhead.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic. Of course, so his thing is like he's got this scarf which is like super strong, like metallic alloy.
Yeah.
That can like wrap up anything. You know, which I thought was really cool. But his powers obviously are, if he looks at you, is it for like an extended period of time?
If he
like,
keeps his focus on you, you lose your power.
You lose your powers.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really quite scary as well, isn't it? You know. And then it stops when he blinks.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So he's always got to have eye drops.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And it shows the limitations. That's what I like about this. It shows the limitations of everyone's ability.
Yeah.
Like Araka, she's got the anti-gravity, but if she does it too much, she throws up because of the anti-gravity.
Yeah, because but that's the thing. It makes total sense, doesn't it? And it's the same thing with I mean, you see that obviously with All Might, but like with Deku, when his powers do manifest, when he has because it's called All for One, isn't it?
Yeah.
The power, the quirk that All Might has, which is like passed down from people to people.
Is it one for all for one?
It's either one.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was All for One.
I think it's one for all. You've got the one power for all.
Oh, I see. Right, that makes sense then. That makes sense.
Spoilers, there's
your
a
hand
guy
actions.
with all for one.
Is there actually?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for context there, Lee did some hand actions which fully helped me understand the concept there.
Pointed myself one, pointed out to everyone else for
all. But when he starts to use those powers and like punching and to punch the robots or whatever they have to do in like their tests and stuff like that, which by the way they should fully have killed some people there.
It's like a fucking Hogwarts type X-Men thing. You got all these students here like, oh yeah, we're just gonna kind of kill them.
We're just gonna if you die, sucks to be you. Do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. You should have done better.
Yeah.
Because he uses like the just to kind of explain like what the quirk is. I mean, they even establish in the show that no one really knows what it is.
Yeah.
And that like it's the subject of debate on like loads of forums on the internet where like what is All Might's actual power. And it's like a mixture of like super strength and like energy. It's disposition
it's sort of like original Superman. He can jump really high. He doesn't fly. He just jumps really high.
Yeah.
Super strength. Yeah, about it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So he punched a robot really hard to the point where it like just blew up like a nuke or something.
Yeah.
But it was so powerful that Daku's body wasn't used to it in the slightest. So he broke both of his legs.
Yeah, when he jumped and broke his arm.
And his arm. And it's like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like, that's mental.
Yeah.
That's how powerful it is, you know? And then, of course, when the nurse comes in, and her power is, of course, that she can just heal anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, bloody hell. And then she's like, I can't keep doing this, you know? He's like, he needs to get a grip on his powers and stuff. And then the next time he uses it, only breaks his finger. But then, of course, when he gets into, like, that really emotional fight, between him and Exploding Bastard Man. You know, like I was like, God, like guy really wants to kill him, doesn't he? You know what I mean? And one thing that as well that I forgot to mention this as well. Best Genist.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Incredible.
The Best Genist. I love Best Genist.
Best Genist. Like, as it was saying, like, when they were doing, like, the little introduction to what the school is, they were saying, like, here's some of our premier students, and it was, like, All Might and some other person who you'd not heard of. And then it went, Best Genist. And I'm like, what's his thing? Is he just wears denim?
He uses the power of denim, yeah. He uses, like, his
uses the power of denim?
Yep.
What does that even mean?
He uses the denim thread to, like, tie stuff up and
That's incredible. That's what I mean. Like, it's so creative.
Yeah.
You know, like, he just uses the power of denim to tie things up and to fight crime. Isn't that incredible?
It's correct.
That's just wonderful.
There's some really, really good abilities in this.
There is. And I couldn't make my mind. There was a moment as well that I've written down here. I can't make my mind up if this is a comedy or not. Where Daku's like walking and he's having like he's like his 500th in a monologue about his self-worth or whatever. Which because like he was reading the book, which he's made extensive notes on every superhero ever, because he really wants to like study how to become like a really good superhero, which I thought was a really great idea. And then when, because at this point he's already established, because All Might has saved his life, and he like stuck around him. He's figured out that he's like what he's really like underneath the power and all that sort of stuff. But All Might appears. He jumps out of the corner and goes, "I am here!" And he has a panic attack when he sees him. And I'm like, and I've written, I can't make my mind up if this is a comedy.
It's
because it was just absurd.
Typical sort of like shown in action. It's most action. Some bits are really fucking depressing.
Yeah.
And then it's comedy. Just has a bit of everything just to kind of levy
balance it out. Yeah.
You don't want anything like was it? Because I haven't seen it. Was it Suicide Squad that had like Suicide Squad? The first one that had or Justice League, which didn't have like any comedic moments at all. It was just all seriousness. There's one Zack Snyder superhero film that was all seriousness all the time.
That's all serious. Well, it could be any of them really.
Yeah,
there's I think Man of Steel doesn't really have many moments of but, I think that's okay though. I think if you have like if you establish your tone from the very beginning, like this is what it's going to be. It's going to be serious.
And I always think you need something to breathe with. Like,
I think you need inspiring moments. I think if you're dealing with something, if you're doing like a superhero story concept, I don't think there's anything wrong with it being dark or anything or serious or anything. If it doesn't have any comedy, because I think some people, and just some people, mistake something being really dark for being like really badly written, and it's like I think some of it's a matter of taste. And I think because like the issue with a lot of those films, I think what people really are meaning by that is the writing. They're not really on board with the writing of the things, and like because you can tell a good story with it being dark or funny or whatever, it's fine, but with with things like this, with My Hero Academia, there was a moment where All Might's like, I saw the way that you stood up and ran to help that guy without thinking against like the big sludge monster, and you don't have any powers. That's what being a hero is about. That's what being a real hero is about. It's just not thinking and running to risk your life to help someone. And that was really I thought that was a really inspiring moment, and I thought that's good. That's what the core of this story is about. It's not about having like flashy powers and stuff like that. It's about who you are as a person, which defines what being a hero is. Which I think is me, I'm a sucker for good inspirational shit like that. But All Might's voice, good lord, it's because like the voice, like this is what I mean. Like this was the big thing for me. It was like being a hero is all about this, and you need to figure it all out. And that's what it takes to be a hero, and that's what it takes to hold my power. And then meanwhile, you've got Deku going, I don't know, I'll never do it. It's like, I'm like, oh my god, I need a break. Like I need, I needed to lie down because like everything was just one extreme to the other. And that was it. I was just like, that leads me onto something which I found quite funny. There's one character called I don't even know what he's called, but he's like the Flash. He's like the one who's like really fast. But he takes everything really seriously.
Oh yeah, Ida. Yeah.
Him. Is that his powers? Isn't it like speed?
He's got like engines and he's like calves. He's got like engine things that come out of his calves. That's why So saw like the class rep kind of like everything needs to be done right.
Everything needs to be done right, and he takes everything very seriously, and he he freaks out when someone's like sitting on the desk or whatever. It's like, you need to respect this place because it's a place of knowledge, and and all this sort of stuff, and they're all the other students are constantly like they're laughing at him because he takes everything so seriously, and the other I remember in the last episode I think I watched and someone said, dude, you need to chill. And I'm like, you all need to fucking chill. Like everyone needs to chill. Like Explosive Bastard Man is constantly angry. He's constantly full of fury. Like he's there's not a moment that goes by where he doesn't scream, I hate you! I'm gonna kill you! You'll tell me how you did that! And then and he's like, I don't know how I did it. Don't kill me. I'm gonna stand up to you. It's like, oh no! And it's like, oh my god. Calm down. Everyone just calm down, please. It's like it was just extreme. That being said though, I did thoroughly enjoy it.
I'm glad.
It was Because often I go into these things wondering, like, oh my god, like, am I going to actually enjoy this, or am I gonna, like, not really connect to it, or am I gonna think of it as a bit of a slog? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean, to get through? But thankfully, no, I didn't. I was just like, in the first episode, I was like, oh, this is actually a really cool idea and a really cool concept, and you know, and it was interesting to see where the story goes, and I don't know what you'll think about this, but there was one thing that that struck me when I was watching it as well. I was like, Japanese media and Japanese stories, they really love the idea of a tournament, don't they?
Yeah.
They absolutely love it.
Tournament's a big thing. There's like, I think the second season starts on a tournament.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball's full of tournaments. Yeah.
yeah. And is that just an Asian culture thing in general, do you think?
I mean, maybe, yeah. There's a lot of, thinking about it now, a lot of Japanese stuff I've played usually has a tournament.
It has a
Yeah.
tournament because, like, I remember, like, Dragon Ball Z. There's an element of like tournament in that.
Oh, yeah.
Beyblade.
Yeah.
That's all about tournaments.
Yu-Gi-Oh's tournaments.
Yu-Gi-Oh's tournaments.
Yeah.
This has an element of tournament in it.
Yep.
You know, it's even Mortal Kombat. I know that might be like a Western thing,
The Western thing.
but you know where it's inspired by, don't you? Like, that's all about like tournaments as well.
Yeah. Street Fighter.
Like, or joining like a school, and like to pass the test you must do this, and it's like to be the greatest of all, and then there's someone fight. And I know it's Korean, but even Squid Game, it's one big tournament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, is this? They just really like that idea, and I'm just wondering, do you think that's something that's? Is it? It must be something that's really ingrained in like Eastern culture.
I mean, I'm trying to think now, like, most school stuff I've watched normally is like sports days and stuff like that. Sports days are like taken really, I say, seriously. Like,
Yeah.
they're a big thing. I mean, we get like a fucking day, and that's it.
We
That's
get-
what we used to get.
We get one day, but I've noticed as well. It's this. I think it's this idea of like they seem to like love the idea of excellence, you know, and like training yourself to like physical or mental peakness, you know, like perfection. Because you often see it in like, say, this idea of like pushing and training yourself to be the best.
Yeah.
And it's like, because of course, when we were looking at when I was looking at rather like Shang-Chi, you know, and I know that obviously that's a Western thing, it's just a big take on like Eastern culture and all that. It's you know, it does follow on from that tradition of when you look at like ninjas
Yeah.
and we'll hit you with sticks until you fight good. You know what I mean? It's like that's what that training was. You were hit with a stick for several years, trained yourself to physical perfection, and now you're like the most deadly assassin on the planet. You know, and you know how to fight really well and all that sort of stuff. It's the same thing with again, I'm not sure if it's a Western thing. Probably is. Like Avatar.
Avatar's Western, yeah. but
Avatar's
heavily inspired.
Heavily
by Eastern
inspired.
stuff,
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, but it has like that anime, like it's clearly inspired
Oh, yeah.
by, you know, and like that has like an element of like tournament in it as well. Like
Yeah.
it's always there. It's always somewhere, you know, and you see that in like, say, when you know, the education system from the East. I mean, you see it when you know, you see these Asian children who like they can just play piano expert level. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, because they've been taught from such an early age that like this is, you know, like just practice and practice and practice. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with like sports. I think when you see in the Olympics, China, for example, like they have the biggest team,
Yeah.
and they often win the most medals because they take that shit really seriously.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they you know, I wonder then, it must be like something that they take very much pride in, you know, for like just doing things to the best of their ability. So I wonder if that then influences like the media
Yeah,
that
will
they
do.
consume, like, it's like the idea of tournament and the idea of you know, like training to be the best and like winning and like being the best and things like that, you know.
I mean, if you think about it, most of our like teenagey type stuff, it's normally like kids just avoiding school.
It
which
is
kind of like
it is, yeah, isn't it? Like it's it's very much the opposite, isn't it?
yeah.
It's that's actually a really good point. It's like teenage rebellion
Mm.
seems to be like the big thing. They're always about how they can like we can rebel against authority figures, and you know, rebel against like education in that weird way. It's very strange. It's very strange that like how that's kind of built up here in the West. And I often think about as well the idea of heroes and villains that this show sort of like puts up. The idea of a hero is very much built heavily in this, and it's very much it's very much applauded.
Yeah.
And that's why it's very, that's why it can link very much like American society, because America loves heroes as well.
Oh yeah.
They're very big on the idea of a hero.
I mean,
Whereas over here in Britain, we're kind of a bit more cynical.
Yeah.
We'll
Completely.
love a villain.
Yeah.
A lot of our figures in pop culture are kind of like have that villainous.
I mean, Christ, we
streak.
celebrate some guy trying to blow Parliament.
I was
every
literally
year.
thinking, yeah, like every 5th of December, we
November.
every 5th of December, Jesus Christ, that's such a sacrilege to Britain, isn't it? No, every 5th of November, that's like one big thing. We celebrate we burn a Catholic on a stake. Standard. But that's the thing. But Guy Fawkes has now become like a massive figure in British pop culture.
Yeah.
In British folklore. But he was a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Robin Hood. He was a vigilante. He stole from the rich and gave to the poor. He's a criminal.
Yeah.
But again, he's lauded as a big figure. In British pop culture that we
But
celebrate.
then again, the Robin Hood myth is everywhere. Japan has their own.
Really?
I can't remember his name right now, but there is a myth of a guy who stole from the rich, gave to the poor, and
Yeah.
was eventually boiled in water
Goodness me.
to death.
Oh dear. That's not
Yeah,
great, is
but
it?
that's a story that's like, same in the East.
Oldest time,
Yeah.
basically. Same thing with Jack the Ripper. Like, whether Jack the Ripper or not was a real person. I mean, like, I know some people who'd like dispute whether he actually existed or not.
Yeah.
But again, he's a massive figure in British pop culture, and he was a murderer.
Yeah.
He's a mass murderer, he's a serial killer. And I'm just, but it goes on, and it's like, it's so fascinating to see the differences, the dichotomy between. It's a fascinating dichotomy, I think, between like Western and Eastern culture, and even like within the West, we have, as I said, those massive differences between
Us in the US.
us in the US, and how what we like is we're like a bit more of a 3-dimensional character, shall we say?
Yeah.
Even Sherlock Holmes, he was a drug addict.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the scoundrel, the idea of the scoundrel, I think. But you see it in this. It's like there's a natural what's the word I'm looking for? Like, say, tension, I think, between All Might and Eraserhead.
Yeah.
Because Eraserhead is a bit more rough around the edges, isn't he? He's a bit more weary, he's a bit more like streetwise, and he sort of attacks the idea of All Might.
Yeah.
In a sense, he's like, "Oh, haven't you got a talk show to do?" And it's like, "Oh, there we are. There it is. There's the there's the natural resentment there coming in." And I just that's the thing. I really enjoyed it, because like the more it went on, the more complex the characters became, and it's
Yeah.
like Explosive Bastard Man is actually a bit more 3-dimensional than you think,
Yeah.
because he's he is awful. He's a bastard who needs to chill out.
Well, I'll go a bit further on in the series. There's one point he does get kidnapped by some villains,
Oh, does he?
and they're trying to convince him, like, come on, you like telling things to die. Why didn't you become a villain? He's like, no, I want to be a hero. Die.
Wow.
He's still hot-headed, but he's just like, no, I want to be a hero.
He doesn't give up on
He's just,
wanting to be a hero.
no, he's always going to be a hero.
Wow, that's actually really quite surprising.
There's a couple of heroes in this that are absolute bastards, but are like still, like number 2. Oh shit, what's his name now? It's totally gone out of my head. It's going to annoy me now. Endeavour, that's what he's called.
Endeavour, yeah.
He's pissed off that he's number 2, so he, what's the word I'm looking for? Because it sounds really bad. It's going to sound bad anyway. He pretty much bred kids to get better powers.
Oh dear.
To go over
All Might.
All Might.
Oh dear. That's terrible.
Yeah, he abused his wife and stuff, and like they had several kids, and like trying to mix the powers together to make them the best one out.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so he's a bastard man, and he's like the second hero.
That's quite frightening.
And then there's one guy who has an ability. I forgot his name now. He's only a student. He has ability if he asks someone a question, if they respond, he can just take over the mind. But everyone's like, "Oh, why aren't you a villain?" Like it sounds like a villain power, and he's like, "I don't want to be a villain. I want to be a hero." But he's got like a villainous sounding power.
That's it. That's also really interesting that there's a tension there. It's like depending on what your power is, that you might be expected to have that trait. I
Yeah.
think that's really interesting. Like there was another person. I can't remember his name, but I know that he's he's got like cold and heat powers.
That's Endeavor's kid.
That's Endeavor's child.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's the one that's trying to, because he's got Endeavor's fire and his mum is ice.
Oh wow. So he's like, as he's a 50-50.
He's been selected bred to like.
Jesus Christ.
That's a dark storyline as well.
I was gonna say that. I mean, that was when I remember watching it and just like seeing the way that he is. I'm like, oh, there's a story behind you, isn't there? Because he was really, pardon the pun, cool.
Yeah.
And because he's like, no, just stay outside. I'll just handle it. And he froze the entire room and then that was it. It was just sorted. And I thought, what a really, like practical use of that power. Because when you think of other heroes that do, like Iceman from X-Men, for example, why hasn't he just done that? Why hasn't he just froze a room and then just have done with it?
Speaking of villains, Dr. Freeze did it. He's from Frozen Rooms.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze. Yes.
Dr. Freeze.
I mean, he's a doctor.
He is a doctor, yes, but
Stay cool.
Mr. Freeze has done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Probably because he's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's an intelligent man. He's he knows how to use his powers. Bloody hell! It's but I just thought it was a really fun concept. It was really it was really enjoyable, really entertaining. I did thoroughly enjoy watching it. But it was just those things that took me out of it. I was just like, everything's just like amped to like 11 in terms of like the performances and the acting and stuff.
You might try watching the Japanese dub. It might not be as harsh
Yeah.
sounding. Maybe because you're watching it and reading subtitles. It's still like, they're still loud and stuff like that, but I think it takes a bit of the edge when it's like,
Yeah.
it's a different language, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I think that's why people prefer like the Japanese subtitles than dubbed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably one of the reasons, but it's probably one of the better dubs out there.
Sure. I think it didn't feel like out of place or whatever. It felt like appropriate for what it was. But it's like that thing of like Squid Game, I guess, isn't it? Where it's like everyone tends to prefer the actual original Korean audio, and then you get like this really awful English dub, which just makes everything sound like this is really badly acted and everything's super literal, and I don't know if that's just a natural case of like translation.
Yeah.
Because it felt a little bit like that in this, where like there would be something that happens, or like the characters sort of explain everything that's going on.
That's just Japanese stuff in general, but I think it's less of a thing when you're reading it and like.
Yeah, true. I get that. It's yeah, I get it. Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? I think it's just like a rough translation where I remember in like the episode where they were doing the test where it was Daku and Anti-Gravity Girl versus
it was Ida and Bakugo.
That's those lovely men. And it was just like it's so high octane, and afterwards, like it always is. But then afterwards, there was that woman who just explained everything that just happened, and it was just like, well, he wasn't very good because of this, and this, but he was excellent because of this, and this, and that's how it goes. And it's like, oh, okay, thank you. It's a good thing I'm not paying attention because if you weren't here, I wouldn't have a clue what's going on. Like it was just very strange.
Some Japanese media is subtle as a brick.
Yes. Do you enjoy it then? I guess.
Yeah, I freaking love it. Like
you love it.
I mean, since I told you to watch it, I started rewatching it, and now I'm like halfway through the second season.
Goodness me, yeah. It's and I imagine it like the story then progresses to something bigger than what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, I think this season you'll see the actual villains.
Oh,
I think a couple episodes time, there's actual villains getting introduced.
Well, that's what happened at the end of the 8th episode, in like on like the fight after the credits.
Yeah.
There's like the villain's pub.
Yeah.
Shows it like, which I love the idea of. Which actually is a concept that you see in have you seen this YouTube series called How It Should Have Ended?
Heard of it, but I've never.
It's pretty good. It's been going since 2007.
Yes.
and the first episode they did ever was how Spider-Man 3 should have ended. And it was really, really, really funny and really quite throughout it you go that's really true. And one like spin-off thing that they do is they have
He's yawning.
this this idea of all the villains from loads of different films meet in a pub
Yeah,
called the Villains Pub.
the villain's pub.
And what's his face? Palpatine, Darth Sidious, is the barman. He's the one who runs the pub, and he has to, and he obviously and he deals with like all the villains from like all these different films coming in, and it just reminded me a lot of that, where like they're all in like a bar together, and they're just explaining like saying like, oh, we're gonna kill All Might, and this is how we're gonna do it, and there was one villain there who had hands covering
Yeah,
all of his body, and I'm like, God, that's really what the hell's his deal, you know? Like, but this is the thing. I'll have to watch the rest of it
yeah.
to figure it all out, won't I?
Would you watch the rest of it?
I think I would. Yes, it had that appeal of Cowboy Bebop in
Yeah.
a sense where like, I actually really like the characters. I really enjoy the story. I'm eager to see where it goes.
I've got an update on Cowboy Bebop as well, but keep on going.
I really want to see where it goes.
That's cool.
And I think I would watch it again, absolutely. Because it had that element of like X-Men and things like that too, and I really love that.
I mean, to be
you
fair,
know.
if the voice has got you could just read it.
I could just read it, but the voices didn't really get to me. I just
Yeah.
found it very. If I'm being honest, I found it really funny.
You should see the manga volumes. They look like old comics. They've got like the little logo on the top and
Really?
stuff, or like someone's face, and it looks
Oh,
like a
that's-
comic. Like,
That's brilliant. That's really cool. I really enjoy that. But yes, I would watch that.
yeah, I thought you would genuinely enjoy it.
I
'Cause I know you
did.
like superhero stuff, and I thought this is a really good series.
Right up John Street. Yeah,
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
and it's popular for a reason.
And what were you going to say about Cowboy Bebop?
It got cancelled
I
after season
I
1.
I did see that. Yes. I'm not surprised. Just one season and then out.
It had problems. I only watched the first episode, and that was enough.
Was it really not good?
So all the stuff you said in our Cowboy Bebop episode about like all the themes that you loved,
Yeah.
they just didn't go with them. There was the same episode that just didn't go with it.
None of it.
So the woman who was supposed to be pregnant when she was carrying all the red eye,
Yeah.
when she was talking about how she loved Mars and going there and stuff, she was a princess who ran off with like a drug dealer and like was talking about, oh, I've been to Mars before, I'd love to go again and stuff like that, and it just kind of had that, like, it wasn't as like, yeah, it didn't have the same feel to it. Like when she was saying like she's never been to Mars, she has this beauty of Mars and stuff like you said.
The emotional impact
Yeah.
wasn't there.
And then when they're driving, when both of them in the ship and they're going up, and like he overdoses and dies and stuff, and she's
Yeah.
like holding him, and then the all explode. No, she kills him.
She
She's
just
like, you're going
kills
too
him?
far, and shoots him. And
Jesus Christ.
there's a lot of body counts in this,
God.
which I don't see. We started watching Cowboy Bebop, but then I got distracted by other shit. But like, I can't remember that many body counts. Like Spike and like Jet never killed that many people, but in the first fucking act, they've killed like 20 odd people,
That's insane.
and they're laughing about it. And it's like, this
That
doesn't feel like Spike. And
No.
to the point though, the guy who plays Jet Black, holy crap, he sounds like Jet Black.
Does
like
he really?
sounds like you know what I mean? I was just like,
Yeah.
oop, I just tapped the mic there. I was just watching. I was like, Christ. I was like, they've got Jet spot on. Like,
Spot on, yeah. Mhm.
Fair looked spot on as well. Like
Yeah.
Spike looked a bit odd to me, but he sounded well enough.
I know what you mean. Like, I mean, the guy who plays Spike, he doesn't really look like him.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's strange because Spike's really tall and lanky,
and you've got like massive hair.
massive hair. This guy is like average build
Yeah,
of a man, and it's like that doesn't feel right.
yeah.
What-
There's more gunfights than like actual fights as well.
Yeah, see, that's not. See, you know what I mean? It's like come on, man. It's like it's not. I don't understand why it's so difficult for these people not to just put in like what makes these things special. It's the
Yeah.
nuanced little bits. It's like because they might think, oh well, this is just one episode, one throwaway character from an episode doesn't matter. No, it does matter.
Yeah.
Because it all adds up to building this universe and building this world of this show to make it feel alive.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't matter if this one character dies in the first episode that you never see them again. What matters is what that character reacts to the rest of the world in.
Yeah.
So it's like, if she says, like, I just want to really visit Mars and I want to see the beauty of this world, you instantly know everything about that character. You know that she is trapped, not only in a relationship, but trapped in her existence.
Yeah.
And if she's one person who's feeling like that in an abusive, drug addicted, like, boyfriend shitbag relationship, right? I don't know what that description was. That'll be fun listening back when you're looking through this. But you know, it just adds it all up, and it makes this universe feel alive, and it makes it feel like that. You know, this is a weight now that Spike has to carry on his shoulders, that he's witnessed this, you know, and that maybe there's other people who are going through this. And it just makes it feel more real. It makes it feel more genuine, you know, and that there's an actual emotional heart to it. Because I think a lot of the reasons why some people don't really like sci-fi is because of these reasons. Sometimes you get, they just think, oh, they're just about, like, aliens and stuff that isn't real, and therefore it's just an excuse to do really cool stuff. And obviously, don't get me wrong, it is.
Yeah.
But what makes it even better is if you can make anyone connect to it. And you do that by putting in real, emotional, well-told stories that people can relate to, you know, and that make you understand who the characters are, how they're feeling, and what they're all about, you know. And to not do that is a massive shame. And it's not doing the future of storytelling in filmmaking and in, you know, cartoons and any media any good.
Yeah.
Because it's breeding this idea that it doesn't matter, and it's breeding this idea that people know how to tell stories now and they don't. You know, that's not storytelling. That's just putting something flashy on the screen and going, look at this.
I mean, the live action did one really good thing.
What?
The anime's been trending on Netflix for the past month. So people have obviously seen them like, okay, what's the original like? And went, yeah.
This is much better, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. This is like the other effect of it. It's a little bit like Watchmen.
Yeah.
You know, the Watchmen movie that Zack Snyder did, and obviously loads of people. I don't mind it. I think it's a fair shot of adapting the novel. I think it has its problems, like like any.
Yeah.
The end, I understand why they did it though at the time.
Yeah, because
I understand why they did it, but when you look back on it, nah, you missed a trick there. Especially when you see the HBO series, which is fantastic, by the way, absolutely fantastic. They do the squid in HBO, like they literally do it, and when you see it, to quote Mr. Sunday Movies, they missed a trick there. They did, and but other than that though, it's I understand the appeal. I understand why people don't like the film.
Yeah.
For me, I appreciate it for what it is. I don't let it distract from the novel, but I also think that when you do an adaptation, it has to stand on its own.
Yeah.
Regardless of the source material or not. And I think the movie does do that. I think it's Zack Snyder's best film to date. Although I do really like the Snyder Cut. I know, but I couldn't help it. I did really enjoy it. I thought this is just him doing what he does best, but doing it well. And there is actually a hint of a story there, you know. Like you'll just have. I know you said you'll never watch it.
Yeah.
But I would give it a go. I would give it a go and go in with an open mind.
This is gonna be like My Friend Lee at one point. And
Yeah.
Watch it.
Watch the Snyder Cut, because I was thoroughly expecting to hate it.
Yeah.
Or like not really enjoy it or be disappointed. But the more it went on, I was thinking this is actually really. It's actually quite good. You know, it's a pretty decent film. You know. But to get back onto what was the point I was making, Zack Snyder did actually say when he was making Watchmen, he said, I'm not really too bothered if people hate the film or love it. If people will read the novel as a result of watching the film, then I'm happy. As far as I'm concerned, I've done my job.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when the film came out, I'd never heard of the graphic novel. And I remember thinking, I have no idea what this is, and I did some research into it and thinking, what actually is Watchmen? And then I read the book. I read the graphic novel because I thought the trailer of the film looked so good. So I read the novel and I thought this is great. and then I watched the film.
Yeah.
So I did it the right way around, and I remember at the time thinking this is a good summary of this is a good summary of the book. But this is what I mean. So when you say things like the Cowboy Bebop live action has gotten people to watch the original anime, then that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a reminder that these original properties haven't gone.
Yeah.
You know, they're still here. You don't need to replace them with, remakes and, live act. But then again, though, if someone watches a remake and then watches the original out of curiosity, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I do think that's a good thing because it reintroduces these things to a new audience, a new generation. And I think this is the most monologue-y I've ever been on the podcast.
I mean, I'm looking at the bars now. That looks like all your voice there.
I just realised I went on an extended monologue about...
I mean, it's happened before.
It
It'll
has.
happen more times.
It has. But I guess we'll wait until we see the live-action remake of My Hero Academia.
Oh, God.
And see what that's like.
To be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if someone's got the rights to that already.
True. It's just Sky High. Just watch Sky High, or X-Men or something.
Yeah.
But I did thoroughly enjoy it, and I would watch it again.
I am happy about that. Because
Yes.
you've got another 4 seasons to catch up
Oh,
on.
amazing. I can't wait.
Like I said, Netflix has only got one, which I don't know why.
That
I
is
don't know why they got the
strange.
rights to one.
That is strange.
The first season's really short compared to the rest.
Yeah, like how many episodes is it?
I think the first season's 12, 13,
That's
14?
12 episodes.
Yeah, and then the second season's 20 odd. And they go 20 odd each.
That is a lot. But no, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm
And I would
enjoying it again, watching it.
I absolutely. And
Yeah.
good crack. That's what
Good
I'd
crack.
say.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to watch it, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I
Also-
definitely recommend
Get boosted.
it. Get boosted.
I don't know why I said that, but I just thought I'd say it.
I
Get
mean,
boosted and keep yourself safe.
Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
get my booster still.
Yeah, I've got mine booked. At the time of recording, I've got mine booked next Wednesday. So I'm very excited about that.
It's John's Christmas present.
It is my Christmas present, absolutely. Yeah. I work in a theatre, and all the performances have been cancelled, unfortunately. But we should be back. Back better than ever
Yeah.
to entertain the public. And you've also got this podcast to listen to.
Yeah, entertain the public.
Absolutely.
I think we're gonna. I was we'll leave it up there, but might as well talk about what next week is, considering next week is Christmas Eve.
It certainly is Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
I know.
Oh, God. Is it me, or did Christmas seem ages away? And
And
then
then just came, yeah.
all of a sudden it's here.
And I don't think about Christmas till after my birthday, and then I'm like, oh shit, it's 2 weeks to Christmas.
I know. I used to think about Christmas all the time on the lead up, and that's why it felt so long away, because I was so excited for it. And then as you get older, you get more preoccupied with other stuff.
Yeah.
And you get less and less excited. I mean, I still really love Christmas.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite times of year. But you get less and less invested in it as a concept, I think, as you get older.
Yeah. Especially that I'm working Christmas Eve as well.
I was meant to be working Christmas Eve, but I'm
mean-
not now.
When the next episode comes up, I'll be at work when it gets posted.
That's mental. That's crazy. And it just appears then, doesn't it? It just appears like
Yeah.
that. So what have you got for me next week, Lee?
I'm gonna get you to watch one of my all-time favorite Christmas films.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Great.
Like, at the time of this recording, John's already seen what I'm getting to watch, and that reaction, I'm looking forward to knowing why he went really like that. I think I'm gonna leave it out there then.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Goodbye, people.
Farewell.
Fairly well.